Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's No Bowl Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Dancing Gnome to review. So I don't think this one is part of a particular series. I think it's just a random one-off. It's definitely not part of their year-round series either. It's called Dakota line. It's a double IPA like most of the stuff they can is. This one's a little heftier. Be careful. This one's 9, not just 8 or 8.5 or 8.8. This one's 9. So I think this actually might be the strongest double IPA they've done. I don't remember them doing one that was 9%. So not that that's good or bad. I generally prefer them not to be this strong, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to taste really good. So we'll see what happens. So as you can see, it pours pretty hazy, like all their other stuff. I'd say it's a medium golden color with this one has a little bit of a smaller head, but I also poured less of it, so I don't think it's any less carbonated. But again, it's sticking a little bit, and it's straight white like most of their head. Most of the heads on their beers are. Let's see what it smells like. So I'm getting a little bit of like sweaty mosaic. Sorry, I try to do my best to really decipher the noses on these because some of them are pretty similar, to be honest, but that doesn't mean they're not great. They're just similar. There is this general like tropical juicy character that I don't know. I don't want to say it's Citra though. To me, it's more. It almost has a little bit of a melon character, which leads me to believe that it's like Equinaut or Matueka. And again, just like all their stuff, there's a very, very slight hint of like a dank character, which I'm guessing is from, I don't know if there's columns in there, this or not, but they always have one hop in it that has a little bit of that dank character. Which doesn't surprise me, but it is what it is. So let's see what it tastes like. I don't know about that one. So I will say, the first thing I will say about this is it does hide the alcohol very well. But again, to me that doesn't really mean much if I don't like the taste. But it's, I just wonder if there's like additional sugars in this, and that's how it ended up being stronger too, because it is, it's very, very sweet. I think it's sweeter than any double IPA I've had from them, besides maybe the spaghetti dinner, but I think it might even be sweeter than that. It almost has this little bit of like like a Belgian single or triple like light candy sugar taste, which I really, really don't like in IPAs because it reminds me of like a Belgian IPA. I mean, this isn't to that level. It's not like with Belgian yeast where it's estery or anything like that. Which just has its sweetness that I don't really like. The flavor is orangey and it's a little floral. Sorry. Again, I'm still working with a new stand for this stupid ass thing. I don't know. I'm just curious if his intent was to make it this big and make it this sweet. Like, if it was, that's fine. It's just not necessarily in my wheelhouse. But anymore. I don't know. I don't need a double IPA to be this big. Like, to me, IPAs are supposed to be something refreshing, not something that if I drink like 2 or 3 cans, I'm gonna be drunk. Like, I don't know, 9% of this, like, generally anymore, I don't want anything that's 9% unless it's a barley wine or an imperial stout, or maybe like a Belgian quad. Sours that are like above 7, IPAs that are above 7, I'll drink them because they taste good, but like I generally just don't want that, because you're drinking those because for specific tastes and or for them being refreshing. And to me, like a 9% IPA is not any better than a 7% IPA. The flavor profile can be exactly the same in either one. Imperial stouts, there's actually, in barley ones, there's something to be said about the alcohol content. With IPAs, it just doesn't really make much sense to me. But it is what it is, and if the beer is good, I'll praise it, whatever. I'm just digressing a little bit because I'm just tired of these fucking 9% hoppy beers in pounder cans. It's just, and that's not shitting on Dancing Gnome at all. There's so many breweries that are doing the same freaking thing. And I get it from a business standpoint. It makes sense to sell pounder cans versus 12 ounces. But just from a consumer standpoint, it sucks. Like 12 ounces of this would be plenty. I don't even know if I would want that because it's just so big and sticky and sweet. But I mean, it still has plenty of hop character as well, and it's juicy. So it is, but I feel like they could have just had the same hop profile, maybe dialed back a tiny bit. But this isn't like super bitter either, so I feel like they could just have the exact same hop profile, cut the residual sugars or the sugar in general, whatever the fermentable malt character was, and it would have been fine. I don't know why it's this big, but whatever. Again, like I said, that was not a rant on Dancing Gnome. I love these guys. Brew Gentleman makes like 8.5, and everyone wants that. I just personally don't. So, but the beers are really good, so I drink them anyways. Now, the more I drink this, the sweetness is getting dumbed down a little bit, but as the sweetness drops, the alcohol character comes up a little bit. It's one of those things, like, for a 9% IPA, like, to me, 8.5 is really the tipping point, like, where I can really appreciate it without really getting the alcohol that much. But this, it has some good qualities, but again, like, I just think it's too over the top in the sweetness and the alcohol, so, excuse me. But I've had some other, not 9% IPAs of this that were even way boozier than this is, so it's not to say this isn't good, and if you want something to kick you in the ass and feel the alcohol, that's fine. I know it's not good to say non-distinct in a tasting description, but to me this is kind of one of their non-distinct beers where it's kind of, to me, it's just a mashup of like the different areas of hops that they usually hit, like the juicy character and the dank character. Most of their stuff isn't very citrusy or floral, and this isn't either. But I would say it's just kind of in the middle of that juicy and dank notes. So I might go back and look to see what's in this. I'm just curious. Yeah, this one even though I don't want to drink these kinds of beers all the time just because they're so big. But for what it is really good still. So I would still call this a buy, just to try it. It's really flavorful. It's just sweet, and I mean, it's not like caramely sweet. It's just like residual table sugar sweet, and a lot of booze, but still not even nearly as much as other ones I've had that are this big. But so it's weird. Like, it hides the booze really well, but it's still boozy just because it is what it is. So yeah, that's my thought on it. This is still a buy if you can get it. I would try to get it. I don't know that I would go on my way to trade for it, only because they are doing better stuff in my opinion. that's just because I like lower alcohol stuff. If you like big, huge double IPAs, absolutely trade for it because it's definitely knocking out of the park on that one. So yeah, that's my thought on this guy. I think I have a couple more of these Dancing Gnome cans to go. They've all been at least decent. This one has been pretty good. The Helleboris was fantastic. Spaghetti Dinner was in the middle, but I look forward to doing the other ones because they don't really make anything bad. So, anyways, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.